studio hanging out with us, Aaron Beasley. Most people, yes, know you by your nickname, Killer Bees. That's right, RJ. And by the way, before we go any farther, happy birthday to my husband, Brian.
Oh,
Happy birthday, Brian.
happy birthday,
Talking
Brian.
so much football, I might have forgotten. So,
Nice.
Yeah, so happy birthday to him. But let's talk Jordan Lewis. Let's start with the big free agent splash that the Jaguars made. We were on air when that signing was announced, and it surprised all of us because we thought Jarian Jones was going to be this team's nickel corner in 2025. And then the Jaguars made Jordan Lewis the highest paid nickel corner, coming, of course, from the Cowboys. What have you seen from him so far? What do you like about Jordan?
Experience, veteran leadership. You need that in the locker room. That's what we had. We had older guys that could show us the way because, you get up here, sometimes you don't know how to be a professional and how to study film and what you're looking for, where you got a guy like Jordan who made plays, played on many different styles of defense, so he can adjust. Because, the game is all the same. You hook, curl, flat, it's all the same coverages, but when you have a guy that can be your glue, when you have all these younger defensive backs, we took 5 defensive backs last year, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like you got to have a guy that can bring all these guys together because with this passing game now, you got to have 5, 6, 7 guys that can really be on the field.
What are you thinking? This is early, and I think Coach Camp is still figuring it out himself. But what do you think the defense will look like when it comes to those corners? Because when the depth chart came out yesterday, they had the 2 nickel. They don't have a nickel corner listed by himself. It's just the 2 corners, and that's Jordan Lewis and Tyson Campbell right now. And I know we'll see other packages and stuff like that. But what would be your expectation with the personnel right now and what you kind of know of Coach Camp of what this could look like, secondary-wise?
Well, third corner is really a starter nowadays. You got so much 3 wide, 1 tight end, 1 running back that you don't need to list, him as a starter, nickel or whatever, but he's going to be out there more, and Jarian's going to be the starting corner on either side of Tyson. So the way the game is, it's like 60 to 70% 3 wide receivers, so he's going to be out there a lot.
Yeah, base is only about 30% when you got Sam, Mike, and Will in the 4 DBs. How do you feel overall about the team so far? You came out the other day or yesterday. You've been out before, but how do you feel about what you see, what you hear going into 2025 at this point?
Well, just the new energy. It seemed like we were lacking that last year where at the end of Doug's reign, it was just like, seemed like guys didn't want to be there.
Yep.
And that's tough to play in an environment like that. So I would say, we'll see because it's hard to predict.
Well, how did we have the energy? Tom was hard on us, but we had the energy.
I think.
You had swag. You came in as a rookie and you had swag. You felt confident. It wasn't a negative. It was a good thing. You might be talking, but you were backing it up. You were making plays. You got hurt early, but then once you came back, you were all over the place.
Yeah. Well, that's the way I was. I was always like a hustle rat,
Right.
So the game I wasn't fast. I was quick enough to play, but I wasn't fast. But everything was, playing.
But you brought your own energy.
I brought
you didn't
my
need
own
it from
energy.
the coach is what I'm getting at.
It's almost like I talk so much that I had to back it up. You know what I mean? It's
You
one
better
of them
back
things.
it up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my coach from college that year, in 96, he came down and did the coaching internship, Jerry Holmes. And he comes over to me. He's like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
I'm like, Coach, I'm just trying to fit in. He said, no, you be you. Yeah. And that it just changed me.
That's
and then,
good advice.
Yeah.
And then another thing that happened was Andre Rison pulled me to the side.
Yeah,
I had hurt my shoulder. I was out 8 weeks after my second preseason game, 8 weeks. And I would just listen to Andre. He would just pump my head full of confidence. He's like, man, you are so cold. He said, you don't even know it, right? And then another thing is Jimmy Smith.
Yep.
Jimmy was tough off the line of scrimmage. And I would just study, and I figured out his little timing. And it'd be so funny. Jimmy would beat somebody in the game. He'd be like, that's because of you, man. He's like, you got me working over here.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was. That's what it was like, right?
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you this real quick, too, because you missed 8 weeks, you said, that rookie season with an injury. And so you're missing time in this transfer from going from the college football to the NFL. We've already seen that early on, some of the young guys having to miss because of injury. What is your mindset through that, and what are you doing through those times to still make sure you're ready when it's time to go out there and play?
Just studying the game. You go into those meetings, and, we had some vets. I sit there and just my scratch notes, just writing things down, just learning about splits and just, I just immersed myself in the game mentally. I know I couldn't do physically, but I would just, because college is a whole different game than NFL, just because of the way the hashes are. People don't realize, it's a wider game in college where it's more horizontal. NFL is a lot more vertical.
The one thing that we'd use too, and I'm sure they do it today, but they would give us this book of tendencies of the other team, like formations and where they're on the field, what time of the game it's at, first quarter, like all this stuff. And if you studied it enough, they'd come out in a formation and be like, oh, I've kind of seen that. Like, so they're gonna run one or two or maybe three things out of this, and I'm gonna know right away just based on that amount of studying of those tendencies. And it really takes that guy to get a leg up.
Yes, sir.
If you want a leg up, you gotta have an idea of what's going on. I remember going against Jermani Dawson, this all-pro center for the Steelers. He was so big and fast. He would cut you off before you could even move. Like, it was like, oh my gosh. So you had to study the play. So you kind of had an idea where it's going, so you could, at least I did, to have a little bit of a jump, just a tiny bit. He'd still come at you and come and get you a lot, but it's that studying of that. Okay, he's going to do this when he goes to that guard. I got a chance to come in, maybe get him off guard, right? When he goes to turn, maybe I can hit him on the side and I can penetrate, or maybe I can go around, fake like I'm coming in and coming around, and then try to get to Bettis, outside, that kind of stuff.
Bettis,
but it's, those tendencies are huge. And Bees he was a student of the game, and you kind of have to be. Yeah. You really do.
Do you think that you see that in Tyson Campbell? And you also already said, I think, Aaron, that you believe it's going to be Jarian Jones starting opposite Tyson. So,
well, in nickel, because it's going to be in so much nickel.
Right, with Jordan Lewis on the field. But so how does then Travis Hunter push that spot too? How does Travis Hunter push Jarian to get on the field?
Well, that's going to be the question. Jarian is looking good out there, so it's hard to deny that he should be out there. But they're going to find a way to get Travis on the field. We kind of watched the other day. He was working on some zone drops because I don't think he's played much nickel. So they put him inside just to have the versatility because, if you got good guys out there covering, there's no need to mess up their rhythm, because you start studying where you're at. Like a left corner and a right corner aren't going to study what a nickel and a dime study because they're going to be inside and outside. And it's funny what Tom said. The one thing I always thought about was these coaches are always going to go to their go-to plays. They're human just like us.
Right.
They have egos. And they're like, you know how it is. Yep. We call the play, you make it happen.
Right.
So, they're going to run their go-to plays.
Yep.
And do you think Tyson Campbell, I distracted you with the Travis Hunter question. Do you think Tyson Campbell is a guy that studies the game like you did?
I think he does. Yeah. I can only guess.
Sure.
But it comes up if you make plays. You find ways to, either cause a fumble or cause turnover.
Coverage.
Like
you
that's
don't flinch,
Like I would look for ways. I would look for ways that how can he block me? Every way I can get to the ball. It was like I felt like I was a ball. Oh, I was a ball hawk. But that my one thing that I always worked on was getting the ball. So if you would see me, I would knock the ball out of Fred Taylor's arms, and he'd get in trouble when he come back because I would chase him all the way to the end zone. Because what happens is it becomes a creature of habit.
Oh yeah.
So and it was some games where I had the ball on guys, and they would just fall because they knew I had it. And it becomes that type of game where. We call it CMT, calls more turnovers.
Yeah.
And we've seen that this training camp, Taylor. Yeah, certainly way more than ever before of the DBs or other defensive players. Yeah.
No going after that ball.
Yeah, even if it's in the end zone.
So I've said this before, and I'd love to get your take on it. So you just mentioned Jarian, right? He's having a good camp.
Great camp.
I don't think a lot of people realize if you just take him out and put Travis in there, you got to make sure you massage that with Jarian. This is like chemistry. This is like, you don't want Jarian being like, what do you mean? I'm playing great. He may be great, but I'm playing great. So how, you know what I mean? They got to figure out how that's going to all kind of mesh together.
Yeah.
Kumbaya type thing.
It's like the politics of the game, too, because, my last year in Atlanta, I thought I should have been a starter, but they pay a guy more than you.
That's right.
And it's like they have a basis for playing him. And we just signed this guy, gave him $13 million up front.
That's the
we have to play him.
Right, and that already happened to Jarian. Like I said, when Jordan Lewis is brought in here, it's like, okay, you're not going to be the starting nickel corner or slot corner. And then they draft Travis Hunter, and Jarian's like, man, I can't catch a break. But we have obviously seen Travis Hunter play a lot of receiver in this training camp too. And I think he's a more natural corner. Other people think he's okay, and that's what I was going to get to. Yeah, other people think he's a more natural receiver, but you're in team natural corner.
Yeah, because just the I talked to Jimmy Smith one time after he saw one of Travis's routes. He's like, "Killer, you would have got that." You know what I mean? But,
Yeah.
but the thing is, it's just the high level of skill at receiver and the precision that it takes. Where when you're playing defensive back, you flow off of what's in front of you. You know, the guys in front of you are going to make your plays basically.
Mm-hmm.
So with his vision and his instincts, I feel like that's what makes him a better corner. I just feel like the level of defensive back at this level is going to be so much different, and the scheme of the game, where college it's a lot more, like I said earlier, it's a lot more wide open for him out there, because you're going to see the best every week, where when you got Colorado, you might see every other week. So
maybe it's defense, but red zone offense, because you got to throw the ball to him in the red zone.
If
You
he can
have
get
to.
up in
He's
the
gonna
air
go
the
up
way
and
that he can, you got to get it to him.
You got to give him a shot.
Yeah, he has great
at
hands.
that.
We do
What
know
about
that.
tackling though, Beats? You were a big guy. You're a physical guy. He's not small, but he wasn't as big as you. You got in the NFL. I don't care what zone or man. You got to tackle those backs that come your way. Do you feel like he's going to be able to handle that rigor of it?
you know what my number one answer been since he got here? We'll see.
Yeah. No, it's true.
I think we're all saying that. We'll figure it out, I
But the
guess.
thing
That's
is,
part of it. That's part of it.
That is all on him, though. I mean,
Yeah.
but when you see him in college, he is a willing tackler.
Yep.
You know, I seen him make a game-saving tackle up and strip the ball last year. So
Okay.
I see the willingness, and that's all it takes. I mean, because
Attitude.
how many big DBs are there? I mean, most DBs are, you got a guy like Ward at Cleveland. He's not that big.
Yep.
You got a guy like, he did get a concussion at Baltimore. But, I mean, it's going to happen, but you just got to get him down.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you
he's
don't have
not
to
little.
be, you
He's
don't have
not
to be a
little.
good
He's just
tackler.
thin.
Just
He's
get him
thin.
down.
Yeah, that's true. You can just trip him up.
Yeah, because there's a good miss tackle,
Right.
You miss him and you got to cut back.
Right.
Just because you took your shot at him,
Right.
How many times you missed Barry Sanders? Did anybody say anything?
Enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
I heard a lot.
Okay. And you're a good tackler. Those guys make money too,
That's right.
Yeah, that's why everyone keeps posting the thing where they're like, "Oh, I'd love to see this guy tackle Derrick Henry." I'm like, not many people can get Derrick Henry
you're
down.
right.
That's
Exactly.
just one of
That's
the
true.
things.
Click his heels. You got to click his heels.
Yeah.
That's right.
Get those feet and just hold on.
Hey guys, Taylor Doll here. Thanks so much for checking out 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube. Now before you click away, make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel. And if you have any interest in some of the other team-specific channels, head over right now and subscribe on our 1010XL YouTube.